Ahoy my hatchlings, and welcome to another episode of Zetacraft. And today we are going to go ahead and expand this base. We're going to build the upper petals that I've talked about quite a few times on here. Instead of having just the 4 petals, we will now have 8 petals. These petals are going to be at a higher angle though than the rest of these. But in order to build these petals, we need to do something terrible. Something truly, truly terrible. We are going to have to use math. Which I guess is probably not all that surprising since so much of the space has already been using math to do things, so whatever. But basically this length here is, I think, like 96 blocks long, or it might be 128 blocks long. But I think I messed it up, so let's see, 44 to... yeah! To here, it's 57, so 113, I think is the distance. Okay, that's a really weird number. But we take that number and we divide it by sine of 45, and that gives us this angle here. But then I also want these, so these ones here are all at about, I think, an 8-degree angle. They go out about, or they go 8 blocks over for about every 1 block up, which is roughly an 8-degree angle. And actually, you can see how steep an 8-degree angle actually is when you look at this thing. You know, that actually looks pretty steep, but apparently that's only 8 degrees, unless... Because 1 over 2 is roughly 30 degrees, 1 over 4 is roughly 15 degrees, and this should be 1 over 8. But I'm thinking for these upper petals, I want them to be up at 1 over 2, because I want these to be steeper and higher up inside of this thing. The only problem is we've gone ahead and put down this really nice floor pattern, so I need to think about exactly how these things are going to intersect. But let's go ahead first, we'll quickly do some math to find out how long these things need to be, and then we can trace out the shape above this. Okay, so these petals are going to come off on a 45-degree angle from here. Now, what that does mean is, because of basically how we've done this, is we can basically just use a quarter circle going from here, and then flying around to here, and meeting up at the 45-degree point, and we'll create a shape very similar to this. So that does make our lives a little bit easier. These are about 112 blocks long. Multiply that by sine of 45, and we get that in order to have this same length facing this way, it needs to be shorter. And then we multiply that by a cosine of 30 degrees to find out how long this thing is as it's pointing upwards, so these are the same size petals. And we find that it needs to be about 69 blocks long, which is, you know, very coincidence, or very amusing, because people find the number of 69 extremely entertaining for some reason, which I can only imagine is because it is a multiple of 23 and 3, which is, you know, very fascinating. Multiple of 2 prime numbers, very fun. But anyway, with that, we can go ahead and lay out the shape of one of these petals, so we can find out how big this thing is going to lay on the ground here, as well as we need to figure out how it's going to intersect with these petals here, which I think is going to be the main difficulty of trying to figure out in this episode. Because I really, really like the pattern we have on the ground here, and I don't want to damage it too much. Okay, so what I think I want to do is I know this will connect somewhere around here, because I had started placing it down and then removed it. And I didn't think to mark it on the point because I'm dumb. But I think I want this to connect here, and then from here, we'll just sort of drop down into the ground and then fade out when it gets to here, rather than going all the way down. So if we go ahead and calculate this point, we can find where this thing goes from here, and then start drawing it up, and see if that looks good. So let's try that. Okay, let's take a quick look at how this looks. So it comes up a bit. Does that come in a little bit too... Okay, let's see. If I stand here, I just want to make sure this doesn't actually look like it's at a 45-degree angle. And it doesn't. It does stick out a little bit further, but I'm wondering if these petals should actually be slightly oversized rather than mathematically perfect. Because they do dip underneath a little bit. And I'm wondering if having them just a little bit bigger, like if they went out to just a little bit further. Like, nope, I missed. Having them come out so they were like 75, so they're like... So, right now they're 69, so 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. Going to like the 75 point. So they're a little bit, like... Mathematically, it's not correct. No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if I like it going out the extra bit further. It could also just because of how I had done that. It does look nice from here, but I do think it does look a little. Does it look too short? Oh man, I really can't decide. Yeah, I think visually it would look better for out there. Oh, that means you need to go through this whole process again. Pain. Pain. Well, better to do it now than after I've built this thing. Yeah, I think it's gonna be better out here. It's a little bit bigger, but with these angles, I think it'll make the petal look a little... I think otherwise the petal will look a little too small. This is one of those times where creative is really, really useful. Yeah, being able to see how this actually looks in creative would be really, really nice. But I'm not using creative, so I'm gonna try the... I'll do it on this petal and try this one at 75 and see if I like that better or not. Okay, that looks pretty good and aligned. Let's see how this looks from the sky. This is definitely a lot bigger. I think I like this one better. I think I do like the extra size. Besides, 75 is a so much nicer number. At 69, it's only a multiple of 2 primes. 75 is a multiple of 3. And that makes it a far superior number, because I don't like primes. So the more compounded the number is, the better the number is. This is why numbers like 60 and 360 and 12 are great. They're my favorite numbers, and primes are the worst. I do not like primes. I hate primes. So I want to try and avoid primes as much as possible. But I think we're going to go with this one. So let's go ahead. We'll make the other side, and then maybe make the bottom of the leaf underneath it, and start putting these all together. Oh. My elytra broke. Crap. I just want to express to you the amount of nonsense that is currently involved in trying to set myself up here. Just I keep falling out of the water streams. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Okay, then I place this here, and then it's like, nope. Over, like this. I'm down. I break this, and I have to do this all the way until I get over to there. This is not an easy process. Okay, now let's take a look at this thing up from the sky. Fly. That looks pretty cool. It's funny how it seems to bend in multiple directions, even though it's a perfectly flat line. Just funny how it seems to bend. Okay. Let's fly far away from it. I want to see kind of what it's going to look like from the side. Yeah, and then we have another one here, another one here, another one here. Okay. I think that's okay. Whereas now I'm sort of wondering if, I don't know, maybe it should be steeper. Because I feel like it would almost be, no, I think it's gonna be fine there. We have the 4 of those, and then we'll have the big center tower. But the next thing I need to go ahead and do is, oh, yeah, nope. Swim up to here, pick up this water. Oh, trying to place all of these blocks here was the worst. So difficult. Next season, I can use this to place blocks underneath, which is nice. But, oh boy, I'm going to fall into the void so many times if I try and do this without, over the void. Yeah, I think that'll look nice. So we have the big white petal, and then this little thing here. I'm wondering if I want to add like almost lines to the outside. You know, like I had originally talked about putting, you know, like maybe like continuing some of these lines up, going along. That might look good on this just because this is going to be a big empty shell without these big plates in here. But looking at how big this thing is, we're definitely going to need to do the biomes in here. That's definitely going to be something I cannot cut. Okay, well, I guess I should go ahead and start getting some concrete. Concrete. Where's concrete? Oh, that's quartz. And the concrete's over here. Okay, I don't think this will be enough concrete. Okay, well, I'm hoping 3 shulkers will be enough to do this. If not, we have plenty of more materials that we can go ahead and turn into concrete. This is actually a pretty cool view from here. Just watching it, how it sort of bends up. Parallax is so weird. Really is so weird. Okay, let's... Story time? Oh, geez, I hit... I changed my face. I'm laughing. This is no laughing matter. Okay. I have no idea how long I've had that on. Okay, story time. Let's go. I forgot to record the time lapse. So, no story time. Back to the video. This has honestly probably been one of the most technically challenging builds that I have ever done. You know, everything is curves. The entire thing is just a massive, endless curve. And actually, if you look at it from the center here, now that it has this shape, it looks a lot better. You know, it looks a lot rounder. There are definitely some bits that do bump up a little bit weirdly as you sit along here that you can notice. I might have to go through and double check how I've done all these, that they're actually correct. Looks to be correct. You can definitely see the outline is feels a little funky in places. Yeah, this looks really cool. But this has by far been, I'd say, the most difficult and technically challenging build that I have ever done. Everything, like, there's so many curves. Everything is curves. And I had to keep flying away and flying back and just trying to figure out to try and get this shape nice and right. Because you can start off doing curves sort of this way, but then down here you really need to do curves this way. Because not only is this thing a giant curved whole piece, it's at an angle, which makes it even worse. You know, like with a flat piece, it's already difficult. But with this piece being up at an angle, oh man, that was really something. But this thing looks really very cool. This area might bulge out just a little bit too much right here. I think I might need to pull these back just a little bit. Okay, I think that's probably going to be as good as I'm going to be able to get it, doing it this way. There's a couple little bits that are still not quite perfect. But I think let's go ahead and hit the hyperspeed build mode. I might need to go ahead and make some more concrete, because I think I only have 1 shulker left. But let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, well, it's been a couple weeks, to be honest. I've been super busy with work. This one class is really doing a number on me. But we now have these 4 petals. And, you know, at first it took me a little bit to think about what I wanted to do with them. And, you know, when you go way up in the sky, I actually think these look really cool, even just empty. Oh, that's not high enough. Let's go much higher. Much higher. Okay. We go like this, and now look at that. That's a really cool pattern, even with these little water spots here that just happen to exist. So I wound up covering them up with glass, and I think I'm just going to leave them as a permanent part of the base, as like this area where it sort of fades into this darker blue. But I think this area looks pretty nice. Unfortunately, I don't think I have time for the the biomes, because originally I was thinking, oh well, this is really good, but now I'm thinking, well, it'd be nice to have the biomes there, but with work and everything, I really don't think I have enough time to put in the biomes. But I think this looks pretty good. You know, this looks pretty cool from away at a distance. Also, I'm not sure if you can hear, but there is a bird outside that is quite loud. But you know, this looks pretty cool from a distance, especially when you get these views of like really high up and far away. You can really see the flower effect. Yeah, like, you know, looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah. So now there's just one more step that we want to do, but we're not going to do that in this episode. We're going to do that in the next episode, the last episode of this series. But with that, my hatchlings, I will see you on the final episode of Zetacraft. Bye bye!